Hello everybody and welcome to S Korea 360 where we talk about everything Korea. My name is Ade.
Yo, this is David.
So, we have lived in Korea as foreigners for a combined 20 years. That's 2 decades. Our goal is to help all kind of foreigners thrive, not only survive in Korea. Also, if you're thinking about moving to Korea, this will be your number one source of great information. So, today's show, we're going to be debating the pros and maybe the cons of living in Seoul, South Korea, in our Korea city breakdown. David, you lived in Seoul before, right?
Yeah, I have about 2 years.
Sure, great. So if you are living in Seoul or thinking about making the move to Seoul, you definitely want to stay tuned for that. Also, we have our foreigner post of the week.
Fun stuff.
Which is going to be hilarious. But now, David is going to do our trending news in Korea.
Let's start with our first news story. All right, this is not that shocking. We've heard about this. Only 1 in 3 young Koreans are positive about marriage. So, a recent report, it showed that Koreans' attitudes, especially the young ones, about the family, about marriage and stuff, only 36% of the Koreans aged 19 to 34 view marriage positively, which is actually a huge drop from 56% a decade ago. Now, this decline is, of course, contributing to record low marriage and fertility rates in the country, and it shows and highlights the financial concerns and the burdens of childcare all over the country. So while traditional family structures may be losing favor, young Koreans are increasingly open to alternatives like cohabitation and international marriages. Cohabitation, that's a wacky word, isn't it? It's basically living together, not tying the knot. So let's talk about this briefly. 36.4% is the exact numbers of young Koreans viewing marriage positively. Mm-hmm. Now, we've heard this topic debated and talked about by many news around the world. Mm-hmm. Do you think this is just for Korea, or do you think it's a global trend?
It's definitely a global trend. However, in Korea, everything is more intense because it's only Koreans usually living in Korea. Mm-hmm. When I ask if you ask kids, they don't even want to have kids. Kids don't want to have kids. University students don't want to have kids. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to have kids or even get married in Korea.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, international marriages are a thing now as well, and it's being more accepted here in Korea because of that. Because Koreans don't want to get married, they're inviting foreigners outside of Korea to get married to them.
Right.
So what do you think? Is this a sign that Korea is becoming more multicultural, you think?
I think it's a sign, but it's going to be a slow change. Nothing's going to happen
definitely.
fast. Right.
You know, Canada, America, countries in Europe, they had this multicultural society for more than 50 years, right? It's been hundreds of years, maybe even. Korea just started that.
It's a slow.
It's going to take a while, for sure. All right, let's move on to our second news story. Mm-hmm. Now, starting this month, hospitals in Korea, they're mandated to install CCTVs in operating rooms. That has sparked fierce debate. Very controversial, right? So this move is endorsed by the government, aims to protect patients from medical malpractice and unethical conduct. This whole thing basically saying that, some doctors are mistreating patients while under surgery.
This was a huge story a few years ago.
For sure.
Right.
We've seen blurred images or blurred footages of doctors sexually assaulting patients because they're under sleep, right?
It wasn't only that, it was also doctors were so busy, they were letting assistants do some of the surgeries.
Yeah, not professional.
So, right. All right.
So the public largely supports this initiative, the move by the government. This is awesome because we need this for our own.
But doctors, they're not about that.
No. So the doctors groups, they're planning a constitutional appeal against this charge. Right now, as of the law, if you break the law and release the footage of your, whatever you recorded, you can get fined 50 million won, which is not cheap. It's worth like a genocide.
That's fine, because you shouldn't be doing it anyways, right?
But do you think that's enough of a deterrent? Do you think what the government has laid down as a punishment is enough to warrant a peaceful, non-exposure?
I think the attention is enough where if somebody was doing it, they're gonna be much more cautious, and they're gonna. I think that we're not gonna hear too much of this in the future anymore.
You think so?
I think so.
I honestly want the punishments to be a little more stronger.
Korea has soft punishment. You know this already.
Exactly. Yeah. They call this the soft what do you call it? Bangmangi, bat.
Soft bat?
Yeah. Like batting for
Right.
punishment. But yeah. So it's really weak, I think. But we'll see about that. Now, we talked about CCTVs and being installed in hospitals. Doctors don't like it. They're not very happy with this new rule. So do you think the cameras, the installment of it, do you think that will prevent the doctors from doing illicit things?
It's gonna make them definitely more cautious. Sure. I don't think the government would do it if it wasn't a problem, or at least they thought it was a problem.
Yeah.
However, nobody wants to be watched at work.
For sure. You
Right?
don't want that big brother watching you, right?
No one wants to be watched at work. So I understand that part. However, there's some jobs where you can't mess up.
Yeah, for sure. It's a life or death situation.
Sure.
All right, let's move on to our third news story. Now, the government said the country decided to designate this specific date as a temporary holiday to boost domestic consumption. And that specific date is next month, October the 2nd. Now, the decision creates a 6-day extended break, basically starting with the day before Chuseok holiday, which is the one of the major holidays here.
Huge holiday in Korea.
On September the 29th, and then ending it on October the 3rd, according to the government. Now, I think this is an interesting move by the government because what the general rule of thumb is, if you have a day off, you'll be spending that day off doing something fun.
Right.
Either relaxing at home or going out with your friends and having a dinner outside or lunch outside with your friends. Basically spending money. So that's what the government wants. They want you to spend money because consumption is so low, the economy is going down.
So here's my little thing to pick about this.
Oh yeah.
So the second is like the Monday, because like it's like a day off in the middle. So they give an extra day, right, to extend the long weekend. However, they always do this, but they always tell you like a few weeks before, a month before, when they knew they were going to do it. So I work at a university, so now we have to change the whole academic calendar.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? So Korea is a little bit of that Bali culture, kind of last minute thing.
Yeah.
They knew they were gonna do it. Just say at the beginning of the year, hey, this is gonna be a holiday.
Yeah.
But they wait until,
That's a good point.
Right.
That's a good point made because they don't give you enough time to plan things out for all the other people.
So imagine now you want to take a trip. You can't take a trip anymore. Everyone's gonna book everything.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
On that day now, right?
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining about a day off. I'll take a day off. But I'm just saying it would be nice to kind of get it, much more in advance.
For sure. So overall, the government, I guess, wants the 6-day holiday to boost domestic consumption. But I feel like a lot of the people nowadays just stay at home anyway.
So David, what are you gonna do? So we have a 6-day holiday, almost a week off. Netflix or shopping or what?
The thing is, like, with the jobs that I have, like I'm a freelancer, so I do a lot of the jobs at home or at a specific place. I can't really take a day off.
Busy guy.
So when people take a day off, I'm usually working. So this holiday concept doesn't really work with me. It's same old, whatever happens.
Same old routine, pretty much?
It's just like however I control it, national holidays don't bother me.
Cool.
It doesn't affect me anyway.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's that. That was our third news story. Let's move on to our fourth one.
Sure.
This summer has been really hot.
David, this summer's been so hot. This is probably the first time you ever see me with an ice Americano, ever.
What's up with that, man?
Bro, you called me, hey, do you want one? I said no, but then I was like outside sweating. I'm like, it has ice in it, so it has to be something good's got to be in there.
He asked for today.
I don't do ice Americanos, but today's so hot, I got one.
All right, so South Korea saw a 3-fold rise in severe heat-related illnesses compared to last year. This is actually based in Seoul statistics, and according to the fire department there. May 15th to August the 31st, 158 cases were reported related to heat-related illnesses. That's a jump from 50 cases last year.
Sheesh.
A lot of them were in their 60s. And in August, they saw a spike of 97 cases just in August.
Wow.
Over 4,000 patrols and the patrols, what is this? Oh, so a lot of announcements were made.
Right, and they kind of I think they do something like random knocks or try to do something to kind
Oh,
of.
I see. Those kind of patrols.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
right.
So the government
Checking on people, right.
checking on people, especially the elderly folks living alone.
For sure, and even in Gwangan too, like a lot of the people live near the beach. The houses are really old and not fitted for air conditioning, right? And it's kind of common where houses don't have air conditioning.
Right. So the welfare services here, I think, are pretty great, especially to the elderly folks
Right.
who are living alone, maybe in houses not equipped with proper infra. So I guess that's good. But the weather's been hot.
It has been hot, man.
We had that jamboree incident in Korea. You heard about that, right? With the global scouts coming to Korea. And
Right. Oh
everything got
yes,
canceled
yes,
because of the
yes.
heat. I mean, I don't really blame them, but the heat was just bad. The heat was terrible. We don't want to talk too much about that incident in particular, but we just want to talk about the heat itself.
Right.
And so because of that, a lot of people suffered sicknesses.
Right. I have a rule where I don't complain about the heat because I'm Canadian and I hate winter with a passion. So
It's a whole personal rule, right?
it's my personal rule. No matter how hot it gets, I just say
Embrace it.
I'm alright because I know how cold it can get. So
Oh, yeah.
I embrace the heat.
So you embrace the heat, but do you think it was hotter this summer than last year?
It was absolutely hotter this summer. It was just more humid. Korea's hot, everywhere's hot, but
Yeah.
Korea gets humid.
So yeah, it was hot and humid the past 10 years I've been here, but this year in particular was extra humid. I felt like I was in like another country, like
Right.
Vietnam or something.
It was hot, man.
Yeah, it was really sticky. But it's almost done. We're in September now.
Right.
Let's move on to our fifth news story. Now, Seoul's popular Norangjin fishery market is unusually quiet ahead of the Chuseok holiday due to growing fears about food safety, seafood safety in particular. Now, we heard about this, the Fukushima wastewater release, right? Over 70% of Koreans are worried about the potential pollution of their water and seafood. And in this survey showed that many people are not happy with it. And government efforts they try to alleviate the fears.
Right,
That's
sure.
what they do
For
all
sure.
the time. But vendors so people who are selling the fish, they're struggling to win back the customers because they're scared of eating potentially radioactive fish that could make them into, I don't know, SpongeBob.
No, for real.
So they're opting for alternative foods like meat, what do you call it, cattle.
Right, red meat.
Red meat.
Or chicken or
for the
something.
holiday
Right.
season instead of seafood. And to regain trust, the sellers are conducting thorough radiation checks on their products, but still, the market remains skeptical.
I will say this about Korea. Korean people are obsessed with their health, as they should be. They go over and beyond, right? And that's why they live longer and they're very healthy
Yeah.
when they're older.
For sure.
And when it comes to their food, if they're not gonna change,
Yeah.
right? So when this happened, I thought for sure, us being in Busan, having the fish markets here, people love fish here. I knew for sure this was gonna affect
Oh, yeah.
the fishery and the economy one way or another.
I mean, the news is based in Norangjin, and in Seoul, it's far from the ocean. We are closer to the ocean.
Right.
We have the Jagachi fish market. We have a bunch of fish markets here.
Right.
And so, like, I know a lot of my friends, not you, they love fish.
Yeah, I don't do no fish, bro. I don't do no sushi, no sashimi.
But I love fish, and I love eating fish that are caught in the Korean waters or in the East Sea area, you know? But now, a lot of my friends are opting not to eat it.
Yeah,
Just
it's second guessing.
Yeah, because you don't know what they tell you is true or not either.
Right.
You can't check it for yourself
Right,
either, right?
right.
So, it is skeptical, it is sketchy, it is very controversial, hot potato topic right now.
More chimek?
I guess so. If you're opening up a business in fish market, maybe.
No, but I do hope though that it does come to a better solution because you never want a part of the economy to suffer,
For sure.
right? So
Yeah,
right.
this is a huge target to the fishery sector.
Right.
All right, let's move on to our last story.
Oh,
here.
BTS, let's go.
BTS and rapper RM, they addressed the accusation of Islamophobia, basically phobia against Islam, right? Denying any intent to insult the religion. And the controversy began when RM shared a song by Frank Ocean that some interpreted as Islamophobic. And despite online calls for an apology, RM stated that he had no such purpose or even at least 1% of intention to insult any religion. He refused to apologize, asking for respect and understanding from those criticizing him. And RM acknowledged that such misunderstandings have been a recurring issue in his career.
So,
One thing about racism in Korea, we've talked about this maybe a few times.
Sure.
But I'll say it again. I think racism that you might face in Korea is a little different than the racism you might face in America and Canada.
For sure.
As you know, Korea is not a multicultural society. It's been a homogenous society
Ever.
And only recently you would see foreigners. And recently, I'm talking 10, 20 years, right? We've seen people of, I'm going to say this, Caucasian and African American or black people coming in, different colored skin coming in to work and live in Korea very recently. And so a lot of the Koreans here are not used to that, and they don't know the cultures of where they came from. And so it's only natural for them to like not know. And it's basically, you know, all these statements that you hear from K-pop or not even K-pop bands.
Just in general.
Regular Korean people, they don't know it. So it's not racism, it's more of a thing that they don't know of.
I say it's more ignorance. And ignorance sounds bad, but ignorance just means you just lack information.
Basically, that's what ignorance is.
Right. So, and I, like, going back to this specifically, and I, you know, we were doing this, we were getting ready, and I read into the story. I don't know the exact details, but from what I've heard, he posted a song, another artist's song, and then he's getting ridiculed for that.
Oh.
Right? So, again, I'm like, I don't know, and I didn't really see, but I do know one thing, though. I do know one thing. I know that if you're a celebrity, you really have to be careful what you post.
Of course.
Right? And then you have to be ready for ridicule and backlash.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Well, no matter what you're doing, right? BTS gets a whole lot of love. You always got to sprinkle a little bit of hate because that's what's going to come with it.
Oh, for sure. If you have that much love, you have that much hate.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah, some controversial things that these pop stars are getting, but hopefully they can handle it with ease.
Sure.
All right, so those were the news articles. Hopefully I made it in 360, but
You were right under 6 minutes. That's
Perfect.
all good. So let's move on to our foreigner post of the week. So basically what this segment is that we just gather a couple posts that we find kind of hilarious or interesting, and we just talk about it. Because in Korea, we do have a foreign community.
Oh, yeah.
And the goal of this podcast is to galvanize our community, make it stronger, and help us thrive, right? So let's jump into the first post, David, if you don't mind.
All right, the first post says, my husband booked for us to go to a hotel spa this afternoon. It's not a gingerbang, but I'm a bit concerned about the fact that I have tattoos on my arm. Ooh.
Okay.
And the clothes they give us are short sleeved, just like this one. Do people ever wear those UV sleeves to spas? You know, those little coverings? I've never been to any type of Korean spa, so I don't really know what tattooed people usually do.
David, do you have tattoos?
Oh yeah,
Where?
I've got two.
Really?
One here and one here. The eyebrow tattoos.
Welcome to Korea.
That's what they call them, tattoos, eyebrow tattoos.
I know, right.
I don't have a whole lot of eyebrows, so I'll try to fill them up with some black ink.
Why? What is it with the eyebrow tattoo?
One of the things, for me, everyone's different.
Right.
For me, because I am on camera from time to time, they want you to look a little more prettier and more handsome on TV.
You said prettier first.
Prettier and more handsome, whether male or female or they, whoever, right?
Okay, all right.
So I gotta look more appealing to the mass public who are watching me on TV.
So thick eyebrows is more.
Yeah, it's an attractive feature in Korea.
Oh, all right.
You got some.
I do. I got a little unibrow going on sometimes too. I got
double eyelids and things like that.
Sure.
Fair skin. You have all that. There we go.
Okay.
You don't need any fixtures on your, no fixing.
I was surprised when I first heard the eyebrow tattoo. But going back to this though, I know some people are a little bit. I know in Japan, they're really strict about it.
So what Japan is strict about is the irezumi tattoos, where the yakuzas have tattoos on their bodies, right? And those are basically a sign of fear. It gives you
intimidation.
I
know what you mean.
And they don't want that to instill the public with fear. So,
right.
They ban that when you go to spas and stuff.
But I don't think this person will have any problem with the tattoos. I like that this person is trying to be considerate of the Korean culture.
Sure, she or he, they're taking caution.
Right, I appreciate that, right?
That's really good.
And I don't think they'll have any problems, to be honest.
I've been to jjimjibangs, I've been to spas, I've been to mogyoktangs, right? People, public bath houses.
Right.
And I've seen people with tattoos.
Right, I don't think it'll be an issue, but I appreciate that they're. Now, I don't usually. I've been to a jjimjibang once or twice. Been to spa, spa land.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not. I actually like it. I actually like the hot tubs, the cold tubs, and whatnot. It's
nice.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Just the attention, man. Yeah. I'm used to getting looked at.
But you're like the only black guy there.
And they kind of have some stereotype.
Yeah.
And then when I went, like, I'm used to being looked at. But like usually when people look at you in Korea and you look at them back, they kind of just fear off a little bit. They're kind of polite about it. In the bathhouse, nah, they don't. They're just looking like.
And you look back and then.
And I look back and they're still looking like.
Oh wow.
So it was a little bit too much for me personally. But if I gain enough strength and confidence, I might go back. Cause I do actually like it. It's very.
I love it.
Right.
I love it. Not the fact that I share the water with the other guy. It's just that you get to dip in the hot water, cold water, sauna.
It's super healthy, man.
It is.
It's super healthy.
It's really nice.
Yeah, but going back to this person, I think they'll be fine, and good on you for actually being aware.
For sure. I actually have a friend. I had a friend in Korea who had tattoos all over his body. He would wear sleeves, the UV sleeves, to work. Just because the school or wherever he worked is a little more conservative, and they didn't want to. I mean, they didn't mind, but they didn't want the parents to mind.
I see.
So they wanted the teachers to cover up any tattoos.
Sure.
So he was okay with that, but when it comes to public baths, I've seen a lot of people with tattoos.
I think it's fine.
Just stripping out naked, so it's fine.
Side story. They did like some social experiment here in Korea. Busan driving is another story on its own.
It's crazy.
But usually women tend to get honked a lot when they're driving, right? But they did a social experiment, even guys too, where the guy wear the UV sleeve with the tattoos. Because they have UV sleeve with the fake tattoos.
Yeah.
And then he just puts his arm out. Right? And when he's driving, nobody honks.
Oh, interesting.
Very, very interesting. Even my friends too, when I'm driving with them, they're like, hey, like, just stick your arm out the car, like, they're gonna stop honking.
Yeah.
And I do it.
Yeah.
And they stop honking. It's kind of funny, but yeah.
Yeah, that is true. That's funny.
All
right, so that was our first little story. We've got another one.
Okay.
So here's one. I joined a new local gym that closes at midnight, which works for me since my kids go to bed at 10 p.m. The gym owner initially seemed welcoming, but after I signed a year-long contract, I started feeling bullied. His staff frequently checked if I had left, and their attitudes turned unfriendly. And despite the gym closing at midnight, they're pressuring me to leave early, and the owner even asked when I plan to finish my workout. Rude. So, is this a violation of gym etiquette? I feel bullied into leaving before closing time, and the gym owner is Korean American.
If that matters.
Okay, here's my thoughts on this.
Okay.
You need to talk to the gym owner. Have a nice, friendly conversation.
Right.
Saying the only reason why I signed up is because you guys are open till late, and because I have family to look after.
Right.
I think if you tell that person, if you tell the gym owner why you signed up and why your reasons are like that, I'm sure you can talk things out.
Right. But I think they want to go home, and that's fine.
For sure.
However, give me a refund
Yeah.
and a full refund.
Yeah.
Because the reason why, like you said, I signed up was because it closed at midnight. And then for what I've heard, even some of these comments, they're like, a lot of gyms just post that they close at midnight, but they actually close earlier, thinking that nobody will actually come. But this person is actually there for that reason.
Yeah.
So they need to, the owners need to take responsibility and reconcile this situation, like really fast. Because the person is totally within their boundary.
Exactly.
Bullied is a little bit of a strong word, but
I think so as well. Because I don't see any physical bullying or even...
Well, bullying doesn't have to be physical, but I understand this person, but wouldn't use the word bully, but they're definitely pressuring you.
Yeah, pressure is the right word.
Are definitely pressuring you. And I think they need to have a conversation. I don't know, and maybe this person's a woman and they feel maybe, or a guy, and they maybe feel intimidated to have this conversation. I don't know. But especially in Korea, service here is amazing. So when the service is good, usually they try to make it better.
Yeah, to be honest with you, like I said in the first little opinion piece, you gotta talk to this guy, talk to the gym owner.
Right.
And also, I mean, you have the upper hand. You're the one who paid the gym membership.
And the time's right there, it's posted.
Yeah, you're the boss. So you tell the guy, if you're not okay with me leaving at 12 a.m., I want my full refund.
Run the money.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. Okay, so David, let's jump into our main topic today. Let's talk about the pros, maybe cons, of living in Seoul, South Korea. So, love Korea. We're not in Seoul, but you obviously lived in Seoul. I visited Seoul many times. And we're gonna dive into the uniqueness of Seoul.
Sure.
All the good. And did you know that actually Seoul itself doesn't have like the most foreigners? It's like Gyeonggi-do province does.
Oh, I think...
Which is kind of, it's like the...
It makes sense. It's cheaper to live in Gyeonggi-do,
Right.
But most of them hang out in Seoul.
Everyone hangs out in Seoul.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you live in Gyeonggi-do, you're not going to hang out in Gyeonggi-do. You're going to all go to Seoul and hang out and come back, right?
Right.
Yeah, I see. That makes sense.
Okay, so the first pro of living in Seoul, let's talk about the convenience. David, when you lived in Seoul, was there like any convenience differences between Seoul and Busan? I can think of a couple. What about you?
Just a few, but it's not a whole lot different because Busan itself is a pretty big city.
It is.
But when it comes to variations, Seoul is a little more different.
Absolutely.
So in Busan, if you've been living here for a while, you'll know where is what, so it's comfortable. But in Seoul,
you're gonna find new things all the time.
Yeah, new things all the time. So like 5-minute walk from you, 10-minute walk from you, and if you decide to travel a little bit, 30-minute away from you, you're gonna see a whole lot of new things, new places to check out.
Right.
And every now and then something closes and something pops up open. Right. So there's always new things for you to check out. So when it comes to convenience, it's endless.
I'll say this about Seoul. They have all the embassies.
Ah, that's true.
So I had to renew my passport or get some paperwork. They have a Canadian consulate in Busan, but it was closed during COVID and I had to go to Seoul just to get some paperwork, right? And I will say this, if you are a foreigner watching, and chances are, if there's an embassy, if your country's embassy is in Korea, chances are it's in Seoul.
Yeah.
Right? And that goes for a bunch of other services and whatnot. If it's in Korea, chances are it's going to be in Seoul.
That is true. Yeah, consulate services. I've used that as well. I emailed them and they said, come to Seoul. So I guess I have to make my move to Seoul.
All right, let's talk about the art scene, music scene, and let's talk about food in Seoul.
All right, let's start with the art scene. You guys like to go to museums, photo exhibitions, concert halls, and things like that. A ton more in Seoul, that's for sure.
Definitely.
I'm not a whole lot of art guy.
Sure.
So I don't go to museums a whole lot, but I see on TV at least a lot of these nice looking exhibitions where you can go on a date with your girlfriend or your boyfriend. and cool looking sculptures and
Right.
exhibitions. They're all based in Seoul. I've seen some in Busan as well, but like Seoul has a lot more.
Seoul has a lot of subculture, right? Like indie culture. If you go to Hongdae nighttime, they have like busking, and they're actually really good.
Oh, yeah.
They have their own little art scene in there and their own little flavor in Seoul, which you're not gonna get in Busan. I'm a Busan advocate, but there's definitely things in Seoul, art-wise, that you're just not gonna have and see in Busan.
For sure.
And that's definitely one of them. Another thing I want to mention is the music. I got friends who like love indie rock or like house music, and you can't find those kind of clubs or social scenes outside of Seoul. They're usually only in Seoul.
Right.
Right. So if you have like I know one friend who loves house music, right? You can't find a house party thing
yeah.
going on here in Busan, but
That
in
is
Seoul, they're gonna have it. Also, if you love concerts, and the big artist, if a big artist comes to Korea, that's even kind of huge enough. They're not going to any other city but Seoul,
Right.
right? So if there is a concert happening, chances are it's gonna happen in Seoul.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even with food as well, you might have heard about Tim Hortons coming to Korea. Guess where they're going first? Seoul. So everything starts from Seoul.
And then
So,
it spreads out, right?
a week ago, I actually had Gordon Ramsay's burger in Shinsegae here.
Right.
Obviously, it started opened in Seoul first.
First, then
They test the waters out, I guess, and then they look at other cities, and then they come to Busan. So if you are into top
Food?
trending food from famous chefs around the world, chances are Seoul first, and then Busan.
Five Guys, man. They got
Then-
five guys.
They got Five Guys
They got
there?
5 Guys in Seoul, man.
But we got 2 guys here.
Not enough.
That's more than enough.
No. Let's move on to networking and career opportunities. Usually all the headquarters, major corporations, international meetups and conferences are usually located in Seoul. I think that's the main reason why people move to Seoul is for career opportunities.
Yeah.
Especially for foreigners. Foreigners that want to get into entertainment. I know some actors and some models. You got to be in the capital, right? You can make a scene for yourself outside, but you're kind of going against the waters there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So I did my master's in international relations, and I'm not going to talk about any theories or anything per se, but one of the reasons why Seoul is Seoul, why everyone goes to Seoul is because all the top universities are in Seoul. All the young folks are there who are the future of the Korean society. Meaning all the major corporations are going to stay there and have all the entertainment, all the food in Seoul.
Kind of keep them there.
Yeah, so one of the solutions that professors always talk about is to move the campuses, the main campuses of the large, big universities down to rural areas. Then all the students and the young folks and the young adults will move down as well naturally.
Right.
But that's never going to happen.
It's not bad in theory,
Yeah.
but it's just, I think it could work.
Yeah.
But who wants to be the first students to like go through that? Because it would pick up over time. You would get all the scenes, right?
Sure.
But who wants to be the first? Definitely not me. You mentioned a great point. I was in Seoul maybe like 4 or 5 months ago for a wedding,
Yeah.
and I was with a friend, and they mentioned like there's so many young people here, right? Love Busan, but I've noticed too. There's an older population here. And a lot of the younger people do reside in Seoul because even some of our friends, they leave Busan for Seoul. And my friends tell me the only reason why I moved to Seoul is because of the career opportunities,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And actually, I know a lot of Seoul people want to move to Busan. Busan is like their favorite city. But it's just, the career, the money, the opportunities, they're all resided in Seoul.
For sure.
So if you're looking for career opportunities, definitely you want to move to Seoul.
Yeah, that's definitely a big pro there.
Okay.
All right. Also, let's talk about maybe the unique neighborhoods of Seoul.
David, so you lived in Seoul for 2 years. Tell us some of your favorite neighborhoods in Seoul.
Well, I lived in Gangnam. Which
Gangnam
is like
style?
the hot place of Seoul. That's where you want to live because,
What were you doing in Gangnam?
huh?
What were you doing over there?
I was just working for a company.
Okay.
Nothing special.
All right.
Just an office job, you know. Just doing paperwork, sending emails to people.
I see.
But the lifestyle I had in Gangnam was different. It's because you have access. You're in close vicinity to other, you know, hot places.
Like?
I mean, it's a big district. I lived in like Gangnam Gucheong area.
Okay.
The office area. There's the Cheongdam there. You know,
Oh,
Cheongdam,
right.
fancy
It's a
place.
place, right.
And then you have the
Acupuncture, like where the celebrities hang out. I forgot the name.
I have no idea.
But yeah, go on.
There's some other area there I forgot.
It's been a while, right?
Yeah, it's been a while. I forgot as well. I think it was close to like Kondae as well, like a big university area as well. I think it was far from like Hongdae, but you know.
I heard of some triangle or something like that they have.
But
right?
the thing about Seoul is wherever you live, you have access to hot locations, like popular locations. Whereas in other cities, you probably only have 1 or 2 hot locations
That's
to check
right.
out. But in Seoul, pretty much everywhere you go or wherever you live,
It's kind of hot itself,
it's
right?
hot, yeah. So let's say so in Busan there's 16 districts, right? Let's say in Seoul they have 16 districts. 80% is probably a hot place.
Right.
Busan, sadly, only 2.
Right. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
When I was in Seoul, even though you're not in like the main area, your neighborhood has its own vibe.
Yeah.
Has its own like
Color,
character.
culture, right?
Right. So of course we have the Gangnams, we have the Itaewon, of course the Hongdaes, right? Even like Itaewon itself is kind of a unique place itself. It's like known for foreigners.
Multiculturality.
Right.
Yeah.
You can get African food there.
Nice. Yeah.
Right? So that's like, and you're not gonna get that in other cities. You're just not gonna get that much concentration. And that kind of segues into our last pro, is the bigger foreigner community.
Oh yeah, that's something you just cannot neglect because you have everywhere that's poppin', everywhere that people likes to check out.
Right.
You have a community where you can rely on. You can ask for them for help.
Right. It's there.
Yeah, they'll reach out. They'll help you out, and you can make friends easier that way.
So with the bigger foreigner community, it goes back to the networking, right? So if you're trying to be a model, you want to be where the other models are, or the other foreign models are, right? And that itself creates more opportunities for everybody.
Yeah.
Like when I go to the first time I went to Seoul, and I went to Itaewon, and I came up from the stairs, subway stairs, I'm like, am I in New York? That's literally what I thought.
Oh yeah.
Right? And so you do get the huge diversity of people. And you get some people, I met some people in Itaewon, they're like, I don't need to leave Itaewon. Like I work in Itaewon, I party in Itaewon, everything I need is in this little neighborhood, so I don't need to leave.
Cool.
Right? So you have your options.
Yeah.
Right. So David, who would you recommend Seoul for?
You know, Seoul, I think, is for many people. But let me just say, if you are visiting Korea for the first time, you're visiting Korea for the first time, and you want to know the culture, you want to delve into the entertainment, the food, the social parts of it. It's good for a short-term stay, I think. Short-term stay, Seoul is good. But if you want to like settle down,
For sure.
you want to, I don't know, have a family, or you have a family, you want to live here for long term, there are better cities, I think.
All right.
I'm not going to say what, but there are better cities.
That kind of gonna segue into the cons. That we will do the cons in our next week, in our next week's show. But I want to recommend Seoul for young people coming for a year or two and want to experience some of the nightlife, party life, fast life. Want a totally different experience. I definitely recommend Seoul for people who have lived in a small city, maybe a rural city back home, and just want a total 180 change in your life. Come to Seoul, right? It's definitely not for everybody, but it is the capital for a reason, right? So I definitely recommend Seoul for a lot of people. and then you can always travel around, but you know if something's happening, it's going to happen first in Seoul.
Yeah.
Right? All right. So if you liked this episode, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, and let us know in the comments. Did we get it right about Seoul? Did we get it wrong? Did we miss anything? And don't worry, next week we're going to turn into haters and tell you all the cons about Seoul.
Oh, next video is gonna pop.
Oh, it's going to pop.
Yeah, we're gonna disable the comment section.
Oh no, I don't mind. I don't mind a little fight in the comment section.
I'm just kidding. I'm gonna check those sections.